What is up, all you lucky people? So, I'm Martin de Kok, professional photographer and content creator, working as MDK Africa. So I'm taking you with me behind the scenes on this really cool new video series that I'm doing. It's called Behind the Lens, and it's basically where when I go on some of my cool shoots that I do, I do behind the scenes video of my process. Because I specialize in a few different fields of photography, not a lot of these videos are going to be the same. One day might be a news story that I go on. It might be a wedding, it might be a portrait session. It might be branded content that I do for a business or a corporate client. So yeah, I think it's really cool to do this series, show some people my process. I don't put myself out there enough, and I think this is a perfect way to do it. I'm not going to go into much deep technical things. I will explain a few techniques and a few stuff that I do on site. I'll explain that afterwards. But yeah, I think basically it's just to see the process of a photographer, and each one is different. No photographer is the same. Everyone works different, but the basics are the same. And there's things that we do that you can maybe relate to. Maybe you're starting out. Maybe there's stuff you want to know of what I did in the video, what I did on that shoot. You're more than welcome to ask me. No problem with that. So the video you're about to see was a shoot that I did for a client of mine, SVI Engineering. They bulletproof and armor cars. But yeah, you're gonna have to see the video to see actually what happens. It's the first in South Africa. It's a really cool deal that they made with them. And yes, hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's check. Kijk, kom eens kijken.
So it's exciting times here at SVI, where we're working with Martin to prepare the media kit for the Ford South Africa Armored Rangers. Can you believe it? We are in collaboration with Ford South Africa, where we armor the Ford Ranger to B4 handgun and B6 assault rifle level. You will be able to go to a Ford dealership, order your Ford Ranger and tick the box for an armored vehicle. We will armor it, deliver it to Ford South Africa, to the dealership, and you will retain your service plan and warranty on that vehicle. So today we're taking the beauty shots, we show you what the products are all about, and it's a lovely day here at SVI.
Lekker. So, shoo, what a day. It was such a lekker shoot. It's always really nice to work with SVI. They are really professional at what they do. The products is amazing. To do the shots with the guns and that was really nice. The tracking, obviously always a winner. Client wants the images tomorrow, because the day after tomorrow is the press junket, is the media launch. So a lot of editing is awaiting me. There's so much stuff. I probably did about 1,500 images. I think it's super amazing that SVI is partnering with Ford. I mean, you can go into a Ford dealership straight out of the box, tick a box, and there you go. I want it armored. I want my car bulletproof. First in South Africa. That's just wild. You can drive a on-the-road vehicle, everything included, and off you go, bulletproof car, papi. Mutie spelie. So a little bit on my process, you can hear the shutter going like 3 times on most of the static shots. So what I basically done is I adjusted my camera. I set my camera to do exposure bracketing. So I did 2 stops under the right exposure and 2 stops over. That's also called HDR, high dynamic range, and I basically put that in my software. I use Lightroom and Photoshop. Lightroom is amazing with compiling HDR bracketed images. The technology in the software these days are amazing. Lightroom does a really excellent job in compositing those exposures and compiling the layers of those exposures. And yeah, in the old days, I started with HDR years ago, probably 10 or 12 years back. You needed different software, you needed external software to do that, and it wasn't really great. The image looked really over-edited. Yeah, it was too much grain, too much noise. But yeah, so Lightroom does a really excellent job of compiling these images and bringing out all the best parts of the dynamic range in each image of the bracketed shots. Yeah, so that's basically the technique that I used for the still images. Because it was a cloudy day, I brought out all the nice details in the clouds, still got the details in the foreground of the image. Yeah, and that was it. With the tracking shots, I love doing tracking shots. It's always a bit of a rush. So shoot that on a very low shutter, between 15th of a second and 40th of a second, depending on how bright it is as well. I use a polarizing filter just to block out a bit more of the sunlight. So you can shoot, your f-stop can go a bit low as well. You still want a little bit more depth of field on your car. If you, like when I did all 4 of the cars, I basically went up with my f-stop, so most of them were still in focus. But when I did the singles, I went as low as I could. That the 24-105 lens, G-Master Sony that I shot on, is a f4, so I mostly went down to f4 on the single shots. So also you might have seen that I was wearing my headphones when I was doing the tracking. No, I wasn't listening to music. I was actually on a conference call with all the drivers and I was speaking to them. Also the tracking bucky that was driving me, speaking to all of them. So yeah, that's maybe a trick that you can use next time. If you do some tracking, one car, multiple cars, it really works well. You don't have to shout and lose your voice. It actually helps a lot. It's a really cool idea. If you are a brand or a business If you need any type of content, please just drop me a comment, and yes, let's get in touch. This is not going to be the last of Behind the Lens, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Peace out.